Hello, welcome to Salt City Knits. I'm Emily, and this is a podcast about my knitting and sometimes my crocheting and my designs. And today is June 27th, and I believe this is episode 12. I live in Salt Lake City with my husband and my two youngest children, and it is summer and we are busy as can be. So it's been a crazy few weeks. I normally would have recorded last week, but I'm here today. I'm excited today to be sharing one finished object, one work in progress. I have a secret project that I can talk about but not show you. And I have some news on a test knit that is going to be starting. So I'm excited to be here with you today. First off, our little Adam, my new grandson, is almost a month old. I can't believe it. This week he'll be a month old. He is a preemie and he's actually still in the NICU, but making such good progress, and we're hopeful that his stay there is almost to an end. So crossing our fingers and saying all the prayers we can, and just hoping for that little guy. He's doing really well. I'm gonna go see him right after I finish with this and spend some time with him and my daughter, and we're just excited to see how well he's doing and how much he's growing. He was born 6 weeks early and he's just been a sleepy little guy. It's hard when they're so tiny to have enough energy to be awake to eat. So that's been his biggest struggle, and but he's doing really well and just growing and getting better every day. So that is exciting. Also, we have been super busy with our youth organization that my husband and I founded. It's called Heroic Youth. I've talked about it several times before, but we work with teens and kids in a leadership and character building nonprofit organization. And so we've been super busy with that. It's all takes place. I mean, all of our planning happens throughout the whole year, but this stuff with the youth is primarily May through August. Well, September, May through September. And so we're just really, really busy with that. And also I painted my nails crazy. So I've got all the youth are divided into different teams, and I have a different color for each one of the colored of teams. Anyway, we had an event on Saturday, and so I did this for that. So if anybody's wondering why every one of my nails is a different color, that's why. But they're just so great, such great kids, and we just really love it. And so it's just taking so much of my time. So I've not been able to finish as much as I would like as far as knitting. But that's the wonderful thing about knitting, is it can go with the ebb and flow of your life. And still loving everything I'm working on. So let's start off with my finished object, which I didn't take the time. Today was definitely snatched moments to try and record. And so I didn't take the time to gather up like sock blockers and stuff. So I'm just going to show these to you. These are socks that I have knit for my son, Isaac, and they are big old socks. You can't really tell as much looking here as I feel like I can tell in person. These were knit with 2 yarns. The striping yarn is from Ferner Wolle, and it looks like it's an Austrian yarn. So this is the label. And the color, it looks like it's let's see, number 529. Yep, color 529. So I picked this yarn up at Willow Hill Yarn Company, which is here in Utah. And this one is 60% superwash wool, 20% silk, and 20% polyamide. And yeah, so that's, oh, try that. That is this striping yarn. And these I knit on a size, or on a, yeah, size 2.25 millimeter needle, 72 stitches. And I knit 100 rounds for the leg. That's including the cuff. So the cuff and the leg are 100 rounds. And then I did an extra deep heel flap, which means that I also have a bigger gusset. And then, yeah, big long feet. And because of that, I used most of that self-striping yarn. This is how much I had left over. It's actually about 16 grams, but I wanted to be really careful to make sure I had enough for both socks. So I did an extra long toe where I changed the color in advance. You know, I did 20 rounds of the second color before doing the toe. And that second color is a yarn Nouveau, who is also a local Utah dyer. She's fabulous. And the color is Crescent, and it's this kind of steely blue. I think it's looking a little more charcoal on camera than it is in person. In person, you're definitely seeing the blue as the star of the show. And this one is a 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So these are some luxury socks for my son. He is a great lover of wool socks and hand knit socks. I did not make these match exactly because the color change is very long. Since it's a gradient, you can see it starts with the gray and then it's like way long to go through the blues and then back to the grays. So if I were to try and get to that same point again, I would not have had enough yarn to knit these socks. So I didn't worry about matching them exactly. They're just, what do they call them? Siblings, not twins, which I think he's fine with. So he'll be very excited to have these. I had him try them on and they fit great. And then I took them back so I could show them today. And he was like, man, it's like on Christmas, if your mom gives you a present, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to take it back for a few days. So those can go into his rotation. He wears wool socks a lot of the time, even in the summer, and just really appreciates them. And I'm not going to worry about blocking them. They're stockinette stitch. One thing I will say about this yarn, the yarn Nouveau was very lovely to work with. This yarn was very splitty. I had to really watch it a lot because it was just so easy to split the yarn. And there were a couple of times where I got, 10 rows farther along and then looked back and saw that I had a split stitch, and I was really worried about the strength of that. So I would drop down and pick those stitches back up so that I could make sure that Isaac didn't end up with a pair of socks that was going to get ruined, really fast, because he really does use them and I want him to last. So anyway, that was not my favorite of this yarn. That being said, the quality of it, as far as the feel of it and everything, I really enjoy. And I think the colors are really fun. I feel like it's hard sometimes to find a more masculine color that isn't boring to knit on, because so many times it's just, I feel like you can find brown and blue and gray and occasionally green, and there's just not a lot of interest. And so I want him to have socks that he's going to enjoy wearing, but I also want to enjoy knitting them. So it's fun to find different colorways that you can work with. I also got this on sale. I think it was originally priced $25, but I believe that it was on like a 20% discount or something. So, hey, I am a big fan of that. And that yarn Nouveau yarn is just gorgeous. I still have quite a bit of it, and I'm definitely going to knit that into something else. I actually have a couple other colorways that I got at the same time as this one that I'm excited to maybe even put together into a project. We'll see. All right, the second, my work in progress that I can show you at this time is another pair of socks. And these are actually for my son-in-law. Again, with the blue yarn, but there's some interest in it. Let's see, where is my label? There it is. This yarn is from Hobby Yarns, or Hobie, however you say that. And it is called Dots, and the color is color 2. And you can see it's a gradient again, but it has these darker blue speckles, and it's 75% superwash wool and 25% polyamide. This is definitely a more budget yarn, and it is a woolier yarn, which I think can be great for socks. There are 459 yards to 100 grams. And this is how it's knitting up. So here's the back of the sock. So you can see those speckles, but they're quite evenly placed. They're not random. And then this is how far I am on that sock. And I'm knitting in kind of a waffle texture where you knit 2 rounds and then you knit 2, purl 2 for 2 rounds. I did a 2x2 rib. And these socks will be very similar in size to the other ones, although they're reading much smaller because of that rib, you know, that's happening there. These are for my son-in-law, and he also has the same size foot as my son, Isaac. So they both wear a US men's size 12 extra wide. So there's a lot of knitting that goes into these. So these are very stretchy, way more than what it's showing up. I mean, you know, because it's not blocked or anything. But I did the same thing where this one I knit 10 rounds less. So this is 90 stitches in the leg, including the cuff, and then the extra deep, what am I trying to say? Heel flap, which gives me a larger gusset. And that gives them that extra room through that heel. When you have wide feet, I think that's a really helpful thing. And I think I'm at the point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 2 more rounds now. Wait. I'm gonna have to recount this. Now I don't remember. Anyway, I'm getting pretty close to starting the toe on this sock. It's kind of fun, this color change. I knit the shorter leg in the hopes that, looking at how much yarn I had left over from Isaac's socks, I think that if I do that 10 rounds shorter here, I should be able, and I'll weigh it to make sure, but I'm pretty sure I can get the whole pair out of this one skein of yarn. It's so interesting to me how those changes, you know, I knit a 64 stitch sock for myself, and I usually knit an 80 round leg. So a 20 round cuff and then 60 rounds for the leg, or thereabouts. I mean, that is adjustable, but that's kind of an average. And yet it feels like I usually have 40, you know, 35, 40 grams left over for a pair of socks for me. But with that extra width and the extra length and the extra space through the heel, it just really does. It's a yarn eater. So anyway, that's that pair of socks. And this has been fun. This is my 3rd pair of socks that I'm working on for summer sock camp. How many of you are joining in summer sock camp? I would love to hear how many socks you've knit if you're doing it. So like, comment below and tell me if you're doing summer sock camp, and if so, where you are in your process. So I finished the Aria socks that I showed last time, and then the socks for Isaac. So this will be my 3rd pair, and I'm super eager to cast on more. I think I'm going to knit some socks for my daughter-in-law. Those will go really fast because she has the tiniest little feet. She is just, yeah, she has really little feet. So I'll probably knit some for her. And then my 2 daughters and I all have lots of socks. but we can always use more too. And I've got thinking about Christmas gifts, you can always knit socks. So there you go. That's my next one. And this is what I have left so far. That's a very squishy. This came in a ball that technically I probably could have knit from, but I have just found that I don't enjoy it. I really would rather knit from a cake. So I take the time to cake things up. I'm pretty sure this one came in a skein. Not in a ball, but in a skein. Anyway, this one came in a ball and it was a nightmare. It was horrible. It was the worst. It took me forever. I started thinking, I'll try knitting from that ball. No, it was rotten. It just was it wasn't wound well and it just would fall apart. And yeah, it was a nightmare. So I got that one caked up finally. What is falling? I'm dropping things. Okay, so my secret project I'm going to tell you a little bit about because I'm so excited about it, and I will hopefully be showing it. It's almost done. I'll show it next time. But I am designing another shawl, surprise. And it's a very long, gentle crescent, and has a fun detail that's added to it. And it's a 2 skein shawl, and it's so fun. It's just really, really fun. So I'm excited to show that to you next time. In the designing process, there's often things that you do. So I knit the whole thing, and then I decided to change a part of it. So I pulled that back out and am redoing it with an adjustment. So anyway, that's why I don't have it to show today, but I knit it super fast the first time and I'm almost done fixing it. So anyway, it's really fun. But I have been using 2 skeins from Candy Shop Yarns in her mermaid colorways. I think I showed those 2 episodes ago if you want to go back and see those, but she may still have them on her website too. I haven't double checked, but they are both from the her mermaid collection, which is so beautiful. The colors I'm using are called Seaside Sunset, which is this gorgeous peachy color. And then, what is the other one? Mermaid's Kiss. Oh, yeah, definitely go to Candy Shop Yarns and look at her shop, or at least go to her Instagram and look at her stories, because you'll see how gorgeous they are. They're so much fun. Oh, anyway, I had been so good at not buying yarn for about 5 months. I've been not good at not buying yarn the last 2 months. I purchased Candy Shop Yarns. I got 5 skeins from her. I got 6 skeins from Fuzzy Peach Fibers. Sorry for the bump of the camera. Fuzzy Peach Fibers. Definitely go look at her yarns. They are beautiful. They're so gorgeous. And I picked up her entire collection that I can't remember what it's called right now. It's like something about skies or stars, or I'm going to put that information down below, and so you can see what I'm talking about. And then I also just got a whole bunch of self-striping yarns that I'm absolutely in love with, and I'll definitely show you those next time, because that's the next thing I'm casting on for summer stock camp. So the yarns have been coming in like crazy. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have shown this for a while. Let me actually show you my progress on my little granny stripe blanket. Having my Black Pearl Magic bag with some of my beautiful bits, as I love my dear friend Jules from So Sweet Violet calls all of her scraps her beautiful bits. She's another one. Definitely go check out So Sweet Violet and check out her project that she is doing right now. She's doing a mitered square blanket that she is doing neutral squares around the edges, all out of her beautiful bits. And then she's doing rainbow themed stripes. And she excels at that. She's so good at the rainbows. So this is where I am on this project. I actually pulled it out the other day and knit on it, crocheted on it, crocheted on it. And yeah, it's just having a lot of fun. So it's just a little one. I'm kind of making a baby size because then I can use smaller bits. And when I'm using all the granny stripe blankets I've made before, I've made 2 others, and those I both made with 20-gram mini skeins, and I would use the whole 20 grams, and that would give me 4 rows. So it was a down and back, and then I would have just a little tiny bit left, but I would end it and I had very even rows. So this one is definitely scrappy, where I am just using the yarn up, and some things are, like you can see right here where that yarn ended, and I started the next one right here. So some things are taking most of a row, but not even a whole row. Some are taking, you know, 3 or 4 rows. Like this one, I think is 4.5 row or 3.5 rows, you know, so I'm just putting those all together, and it's so much fun. I love a granny stripe blanket like that. They're just really enjoyable to knit or crochet. I keep saying that. One of my favorite things about these is just how tidy they are. So you kind of feel like every row feels like you're finishing something, you know, because you can take your hook out and you pull your loop up and take your hook out, and you still have like all those clean edges. It's really nice. I am using, what hook am I using? A 3.5 millimeter hook. I just love these. These are just the inexpensive from Amazon hooks. This is my favorite kind of hook. So yeah, and I've got lots of pretty things in there to be added in. Looking forward to that, but feeling no pressure on it. It's a nice, just palette cleanser kind of project. So I just keep it here in my basket next to my chair, and then when I'm ready to pick it up, there it is, all ready to go. So that's really fun. And I only have put things in that are wound. There are no like mini skeins in here that need to be wound into a ball. They all are pre-wound, so I can just get started with the next stripe when I'm ready to go. I want to work on this now. I really want to work on this. Oh, that sounds so fun. But I have other things I need to do. Okay, so lastly, I have my test knit for the Oquirrh Sunset shawl wrap. It's a wrap. Oquirrh Sunset. And I am ready to, it's open now for, the testing call is now open. That's what I was trying to say. So there is a link down below if you are interested in testing this wrap. It is a 3 skein wrap, but you need to make sure, even it's fingering weight yarn, but you need at least 430 yards for each of the colors. So you're going to want to choose either a yarn base that has the 430 to 460 yards to the 100 grams, or have some extra on hand. The 3 colors, I really like the sample that I knit. I used low contrast colors. They're all from Yarnaceous Fibers. And there is the multi-color, which is primarily used for the lace in the end sections, was called the Great Salt Lake. And then the pink is called Morganite, and the bluish purplish gray, I don't know what the official term for that color is, but it's called Fog. And for the pink and that purple, you're especially going to use pretty much all of your yarn. But for the multi, you'll have probably about 15 grams less, or left over, I mean. You'll use 15 grams less. So that means that you have a little bit more room. If you're stash diving, you can pick a colorway for that one that maybe has only the 400 yards, or a base, excuse me, a base that maybe only has a 400 yards, or that you only have that much left of. But you're going to definitely want the more yardage for the other 2 colors if you are interested in knitting this either when the pattern comes out or if you want to be part of the test knit. This test knit will run for the month of July. So it will start on July 1st. And then it will go through the end of July. And then I'm hoping to be releasing that in August. So it'll be a great kind of end of summer knit so that you can enjoy it during fall. And I really loved designing this. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and yeah, I'm excited for that. So I will be taking test or entries into this test call until it fills up, and then I will close the form. So you'll want to click on the link below if you're interested and fill it out, and then I will reach out to you if you've been selected, and then I will close the form when the test is full. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that is everything that I wanted to talk about as far as projects and so on. I am so grateful to all of you who've been purchasing my patterns, and Dixie Creek is just doing so well. I love seeing those of you who have shared your Dixie Creek shawls with the hashtag Dixie Creek shawl on Instagram, or for those of you who have created project pages on Ravelry. It's so fun to see them, and they're so pretty. So I really love it. Thank you for, supporting my little designs. I'm really proud of them. I love them. They're like little knit babies, your little children, your little knitted children. That sounds so weird. Speaking of little knitted children, I'm super excited to make some more baby knits. Once our little guy gets out of the NICU, he could actually use them. Right now, when they're in the NICU, there's a lot of rules and of course needed rules about the things that they can have there with them. And so he hasn't yet been able to use any of his gifts that he's received, but he'll hopefully very soon be using those. But I'm excited to make some things for him, and yeah, it's just going to be really fun. So I hope you've enjoyed this kind of short little episode today, and I look forward to chatting with you next time. And until then, enjoy all of your making, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.